Welcome to another episode of 10 Minutes With, and today we're with a financial advisor. JP, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Great, thank you.
Right, so you're a financial advisor. My question to you, to start this off with, is how do I become a financial advisor?
That's a good question.
So I'm leaving school.
Yeah.
I've done my GCSEs. Do I need A-levels or do I need a BTEC? Do I need anything in that education side first of all?
No.
Nothing at all?
Technically, no. No, you don't.
So I can do some A-levels or a BTEC. I've come out of college now, and what's my next step? What do I need to do?
It just depends. So if you want to go into university and do a degree in business or whatever, then you're welcome to. It gives you a sound background.
Yep.
But ultimately, you just need a diploma. So it's a financial advising diploma. So sometimes you can find a company that will sponsor you to do it.
Yep.
So if they like you, they'll say, you know what, we're going to work with you through these exams. They'll pay for the exams.
Yep.
And you know, at the end of that, you have a job with that company.
Okay.
So you come out, you do this diploma in financial advising. And at that point, then you can start applying for jobs, really. But the problem is you won't have experience, and that's obviously the key factor here. So coming straight out of college, I would say find an apprenticeship that will allow you to do the exams whilst working with the company. And
is it easy in your financial world to get apprenticeships?
It's like anything, it is tricky. However, if you look around, I mean, you've got LinkedIn now, you've got all these different places you can find stuff. So if you it is tricky. It's going to be tricky. With any job, it's tricky. But at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. You apply for them, keep applying, and something will come up. And companies are always looking for someone fresh that they can mould into their way of advising or their company's ethos. So actually, if you find a company online or whatever who say, we have a couple of apprenticeships here, just sign up, and they'll just say to you, look, you just need to be working towards or willing to work towards this diploma. You say you're going to do it. A lot of companies will pay for it as well.
So I'm on the journey. I found a job or an apprenticeship, and how much is it to do this diploma? How much does it cost? How much does this course cost?
A fair amount. So it depends who you do it with. There are two options. There's the Financial Conduct Authority, that's one, and then there's the CII, so that's the Chartered Institute of Insurers, I believe. But actually, the Financial Conduct Authority,
what they're classed as the FCA.
FCA,
a lot of people recognise the FCA.
The FCA.
Yeah, but that's all the people know, right?
The FCA, that's it. So there's LibF, which is actually, people hate me for saying this, it's actually a slightly easier path because you sit 4 exams opposed to CII, which if you Google that, Chartered Institute of Insurers, whatever, on that I think there's 6 or 7 exams, and a lot of people end up giving up after 3. But actually, if you do the London Institute of Banking exams, you end up with the same qualification, financial advising diploma, but it's 4 exams. Get those done, and you're still in the path then to go and find a job or a company that will take you on.
And to do that course, roughly, do you know how much it is?
Each exam can cost £3,000 to £4,000.
For each exam?
It can be, yeah.
Okay.
So that's why finding an apprenticeship or a company, and there are a lot of these big name companies, advising companies, they are often looking for people to take on, train up, and they will often pay for your exams because you will then work with them. So that's a real option there. Actually.
So it's a stepping stone getting in. And let's say I get an apprenticeship. What sort of salary am I expecting to earn straight away as an apprentice?
It depends. So you'd be looking to your late 20s, early 30s.
So it's still a well-paid job?
Yeah, it is. It's a well-paid job. That's exactly it.
So it's a well-paid job. My salary's in the late 20s, and it's negotiating the contract and the training element of being it. So what's my journey look like after that? You know, we hear of a lot of independent financial advisors out there. You know, I'm early 20s, for example, and so I've done my course. And is the natural progression to go out on your own and do that? Is it easy to go and do your own business?
I wouldn't say so. I think years ago it was, but now the FCA, the different paperwork you have to have and know your customer, the consumer duty, there's so much compliance. So a lot of people who did go off on their own many years ago and were successful, nowadays the amount of paperwork, compliance, documentation that's needed, actually you're better off sticking with a company until you have set up. You set up and you've got your own clients and you've got a a number of clients under your belt. So you know you've got enough there that they're giving you kind of an annual ongoing fee.
Yeah.
At that point, then you can go off on your own if you like. But at the moment, we're acquiring companies where you've got a one-man band who back in the day, when you could go off on your own, was doing it. But now, actually, the compliance work is just far too much. So working for a bigger company is better.
Is it riddled with a lot of paperwork?
As a financial advisor, once again, it depends. So often, for myself, for example, you have an administration team and they do that. And a lot of these big companies have that. So you naturally have some paperwork. You see a client, you need to come back and write up your notes. It's very important you keep up to date with everything.
Okay.
But actually, the good thing about it is the paperwork is not so bad once you're actually advising.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but the principle of it is that you're giving advice. You've got products, services that you're offering to your clients. Do you have to do a lot of homework? Do you have to stay on top of what's out there? Is there a lot of, it's not just as simple as I've got my exams, I'm doing it, I'm a financial advisor, and I go and advise people and they pay me for their advice. Is there a lot of homework and changes I need to keep on top with? And does that cost me money to stay on top with that?
That's a good question, yes. There's a lot. Every year you have to sit compliance exams. So it's through this competent advisor. So every year you need to make sure and prove that you are still competent. So you need a certificate, the SPS certificate. Once again, if you work for a company, they will make sure you're on top of this. But you have, first of all, CPD. What is CPD? You've got your professional development, continuous professional development. You have to have, oh gosh, I can't remember now, 40 or 50 hours, 40 hours, 30 hours, 40 hours of it in protection work. There's lots of different things you have to complete in a year.
So it's not just simple as I've got the exams, I'm an FCA regulated person, I can give advice. You're saying there's continual learning, continual testing, exams, and you have to stay on top.
That's it, you do, yeah. You have to be willing to do that, because if you fall behind, things are changing all the time. There's new products, there's new services, there's new rules. Someone has to keep on top of that, because if you don't, and you don't get that certificate every year, then they will not renew your advisor status. Therefore, you cannot advise. So you can't just, if you think it's going to be easy, it's not the right thing, because there will be some evening work where you are keeping on top of your CPD and other things. So yeah.
And in relation to the working hours, is it long? Is it hard at the beginning, or is it consistently you have to be on top of your, the workload is a lot?
Yeah, it's consistent. I think when you're first getting started, you'll still be learning.
Okay.
But once you're going out to see clients, you're not even expected to work in the evenings. You'll want to, because you want to keep on top of things.
Right.
Because if you fall behind on notes, you won't remember who that client was or what they did or what they have. So yes, you'll go home in the evening, you'll make sure that you're on top of everything. You're sending emails to them. If they need to take some money out, you work a lot. You do a lot. You earn your money.
And is it a myth, or is it a requirement that I should be good at maths? What are the attributes? I've left college. I did okay. What are the attributes that you need from an educational perspective?
Yeah. If you hate maths, it may not be the best thing.
Right. Okay.
Simply because although once you get to advising, you don't have to sit there and work things out, I guess, in front of a client. You may want to. So you have a client who says, I have an inheritance tax issue. Do you think I need to do anything about it? You will want to sit there and work out what the inheritance tax issue is there to find out if there is a problem, how you can help them. Or if you've got capital gains tax, someone wants to sell their house, whatever. You will want to be working these things out. You'll have a team behind you that you can lean on, absolutely. Then you're not expected to know everything. But you're going to need an understanding of it, because you can't advise someone if you don't understand what capital gains tax is and how to work it out. So if you hate maths, really hate it, maybe not for you. Okay. But if you're fine at maths, you don't hate it, and you're willing to learn. If you're willing to learn, I think that's the most important thing. You need to be willing to learn. So you hated maths in school, but you are willing to pick this up, figure out how to do it along with your team. They'll teach you whatever. You've got exams. If you're willing to do it, then go for it. You need to be willing to learn. That's all it is. Get up and go. Fantastic.
Right, and finally, if you can give an aspiring financial advisor one bit of advice, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. You have to want to do it because you enjoy talking to people and you're willing to put the work in. Don't just do it for the money, because it's easy to think, financial advisor, that's an easy route to earn some good money. It won't just come. you have to put the hours in. You have to be passionate about it. You have to want this. It's not just an easy way to a quick buck. But once you're in it and you get into a routine and you start enjoying it, and you get your exams done, you can do very well. And I think that's it. I think you just don't see it as a quick buck. It's not. You've got to put the work in. But you work in the early days, and then you can cruise later. But just be ready to work hard. And then I suppose once 10 years in, you can relax a bit then.
Fantastic. Well, brilliant. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
That was 10 Minutes with JP, the financial advisor.